Let me see. Let's count it.
You're always going to cook them for the week.
Cook them for the week.
Hey there, thank you so much for joining me for this reset routine. I'm very excited to move into the month of March. I did a few things to get myself ready. I added a few new things for my reset routine because I had the perfect opportunity coming back from vacation. We just got back from vacation from Breckenridge. So that gave me this nice opportunity to start fresh as we move into this next month. So I did things like deep conditioner on my hair. I did a nice wash day. I reset the house, organized it really well. So when the cleaning people come, they can actually do like a nice deep clean. I got back on my meal prep game. I reset all the calendars, of course, for our family calendars around the house. So I'm really excited to start fresh and move into this last month because it is actually the last month of the 12-week year. If you're following the 12-week year strategies and you started at the beginning of the year, this is that last push to try to make sure that we meet our quarterly goals. So I have this energy of motivation and productivity and efficiency, and also my husband is kind of done traveling for a while, which I'll talk about how that threw me off a lot of my routine. So I am so excited to just get back in the groove of things and actually make some real progress in these last weeks towards my quarterly goals. So I have my planner here. Hopefully you guys can plan with me as well as we move into resetting for the month of March. If you don't have the modAmbition planner, feel free to pull out a journal, your own personal favorite planner that you actually use. You can use these techniques with any planner. You can also use these techniques if you want to write in a notebook and also plan along like digitally in your iPad or on your computer. Take a moment to pull out your favorite planning tool and let's jump to it. So let's start off by talking a little bit about last month's wins. So I had quite a few wins, but I also had quite a few challenges in the month of February. So I'm going to jump into mine, but first I want you to pause, and if you're doing this with me, think about what were your wins for last month? What were you proud of? What were some good memories for you? What worked well for you when it came to doing the work to actually get to your goals? Think about what worked for you in the last month. So definitely one of the things that worked for me was our vacation. Like I mentioned, at the last week of February, so I just got back over the weekend. We went to Breckenridge with the kids, which was really nice because they're getting older. So Layla got to ski and Christian did sledding. I had a spa day, which was really nice. So that was really definitely a win. I needed that vacation, girl, or guy, to reset myself because JV from the beginning of the year, so in the first 6 weeks of the year, JV, my husband, was out of town. He was out of town 4 out of the 6 weeks. And that really throws a monkey wrench into our routines. If you're a mom, you know what I mean. The vacation was much needed. Another win for me this month was getting support. So with JV being out of town, one of the things I really hunkered down on is if I'm going to meet these goals that I'm setting for myself and stay organized and productive, all these things we want to be, right? I need help. And I am not every woman, and it's not all in me, at least not all the time, all at once, right? So I really hunkered down on getting support in the last month, which was a game changer and a lifesaver, okay? So I got a video editor. I also got a mommy helper for when JV's out of town. Other support that I got, I also got someone to help me convert my YouTube videos into blogs. A big, huge growth factor for me in getting support is not being so controlling. A lot of you guys do know I have OCD, and parts of that, the ways that can show up when I'm stressed is to try to control everything. Like I have to do everything, and I'm realizing that I don't, and I'm trying to lean more into the fact that I don't. So getting support was a really big help for me in the month of February. Definitely a win. Another win was just gaining clarity I gained clarity on the fact that I didn't like my relationship with social media currently. I really pride myself on inoculating myself with positivity and content that's going to help me grow, help me learn, help motivate me. And I feel like while my husband was out of town, before I got help, I was kind of like in survival mode. So I was like just consuming a lot of like junk food content. So like entertainment, things like, you know, celebrity gossip, you know, that kind of stuff that is just, I mean, it can be fun, but it's also just toxic, right? Another win for the month of February is we had a nice Valentine's Day date night, which was just nice to get out, spend time with my husband because he's been gone, and you know, be an adult. And you know, I'm not drinking at home anymore, so be an adult, drink wine. We had a really nice dinner. It was a French restaurant, so that was also definitely a highlight of my February. Probably one of the most fun things was just getting out and being an adult without kids. And then the last thing that I'm really proud of that was definitely a win for the month of February was my sales in my store for my planner for modAmbition spiked up like crazy. I probably had the biggest sales month that I've ever had in the last month. And I also got some really good reviews. I got a lot of emails, people thanking me for the planner, saying that it helped, you know, change their life. So I was really happy with that feedback, happy with the sales. I had sales goals for the quarter that I already met just in February. So that's definitely a win. And thank you guys so much for anyone that has purchased the planner and provided me with feedback, letting me know that you love it. Okay, so let's move into some of the challenges for the last month. So if you're new to my channel, we talk about challenges because this is an opportunity to help us grow. It's an opportunity to also see what we need, what kind of support we may need in our life, and areas of just improvement. It's just kind of like learning lessons, and we try to find the silver lining on, okay, if we have these goals of who we are becoming and what we want to achieve, the challenges along the way, those obstacles are actually a good thing and are going to help us get there because it teaches us what we need to do to evolve into that person that we are becoming. I want you to take a moment and think about what were your challenges in the month of February as it pertains to what goals you're trying to achieve, your mental health, enjoying the journey to getting where you want to go, and then ask yourself, okay, what can I take from these challenges? What do I need to learn? What was the lesson? What was the silver lining so that you can use it to become a better person? My first challenge was JV was out of town. My husband was out of town, which you guys have probably noticed by now was a huge challenge for me. I would say the silver lining in that is that it's over for a while. I mean, he does go out of town once in March, but it's a very small amount of time. It's also the silver lining. The lesson was to get support. I don't have to do all of this by myself. Like I mentioned, another challenge was just consuming a lot of unhelpful content. So what I'm taking from that is getting back into my audibles. I unsubscribed to a lot of like junk content and like celebrity gossip commentators, entertainment type of stuff, and got back to what really feeds me, which is like motivational content, spiritual content like Dr. Wayne Dyer and Thich Nhat Hanh, and business content of like small business vloggers and things like that just keep me moving forward, because everything you do is either going to help you move forward towards your goals or backwards. Not everything you do has to move you closer to your goals, right? But I do have a choice on what are those things that are and what are those things that I don't want to fight against. And especially having a mental health disorder like OCD, I really have to watch what I put into my brain and really inoculate myself with positivity, God's word, and motivation, okay? Another challenge for me was actually doubting myself. So it's funny how the enemy works, as like the older generation would say, in that I had the best month of sales this month, but I also at the end of the month experienced a lot of self-doubt of like maybe imposter syndrome, like who do I think I am to want to be a successful founder? Who do I think I am to want to create a successful business or to build a community on YouTube? And I found myself doubting myself and even speaking those words out loud, which is a huge no-no. And what I realized was, number one, the content that I was consuming was not keeping me on track with like other entrepreneurs that are in this game that overcome this. So that's good to just keep your pulse on other people going through the same thing as you. And I think I also got out of touch with checking limiting beliefs. That was a big part of my practice when I talked a lot about manifestation and techniques to stay on the pulse of those sorts of things. And I myself, since I haven't been coaching women on manifestation lately, I find myself not thinking about it too much. And then I had to think, wait, this doubt that I'm having, I had to put a name on it. And then I also had to check it. So I did, my thought techniques that I use to overcome limiting beliefs, some journaling, praying, those types of things to just realign with my positive beliefs. So even though you may have self-doubt and limiting beliefs, you also have positive beliefs beliefs in there. And it doesn't mean you have to try to get rid of those beliefs so much, but you just want to realign with those positive ones and keep those more in your intentional thoughts. You may have the intrusive ones, but you want to intentionally think about your positive ones, which is important. And then the last challenge of February for me was falling off of my routines because my husband, well, I don't want to blame it all on him being out of town, but that was a big contributing factor, if I'm going to be honest with you. I fell off waking up early. I have a whole morning routine on this channel, which is actually my real routine. And for me, it is almost non-negotiable in the sense of if I want to be productive, because I work before my kids get up. So my normal routine is waking up at 4:45 a.m. And when I don't do that, I miss like an hour of doing work for my business, because a lot of my days are spent with my neuropsychology job. And those 5 hours a week, because it adds up over time. So 4:45 to when my kids get up at 6. So I had to shift that all around. So that hour in the morning is really imperative for my productivity, but also for my mental health. I also fell off with some of my gut health stuff. While JV was out of town, I was just kind of in survival mode, eating pretty much anything at dinner. And like, I think I did good in January. It was probably like mid-February is when this started happening. So I'm gonna get back on that, you know, not eating processed foods, not eating added sugar, increasing the amount of probiotic foods that I'm eating, all that sort of thing. What I noticed is I fall into those unhealthy habits, or I'm just gonna go order on DoorDash, or I'm gonna just get whatever I want at Starbucks. Starbucks really tripped me up, those caramel macchiatos. But is when I don't have a meal prepped. So even if I buy really healthy foods and it's in the refrigerator, if things are not prepped for me, especially when I'm starving, that's when I fall into traps. But if I have things like snacks prepped, if I have easy dinner meals like prepped, like all I have to do is kind of reheat things or just cook the main thing, then it's easy for me to maintain these kinds of things, especially like for the lunch portions. So that's what I'm gonna get back on to doing. So that was the silver lining in that. Also just sticking to my batch days. So really getting back onto my routines is going to be part of March as well, based on that challenge. So before we move into setting my month intention and how I want to feel this month, I want to take us back to my quarterly goals. So that's a big pro tip. Anytime you're planning any segment of your life, right? Segment intending, you want to look back at your larger plan. So I'm planning my month, so I'm going to look back at my quarter. If I was planning my quarter, I would look back at my yearly plan. If I was planning my week, I would look at my monthly plan. So you don't have to look at everything. Like when I'm planning my day, I just look at my week, because my week is based on my month, and my month is based on my quarter is based on my year. That's a pro tip. That'll keep you on track with your goals. You will be so amazed at how it makes the process so easier. So let's take a look at my quarterly planning. I'm not going to go through my entire quarterly plan because we did that in a previous video, but I will take a look at my yearly goals and my quarterly goals. So my yearly goals are total wellness, enjoying and nurturing my family, and expanding my business. Then I have my quarterly goals that are moving me closer to those yearly goals. I have 3 for wellness. So the first one is 20 minutes of cardio each weekday and 2 times a week for Pilates. Those have turned into just on my habit tracker because they are part of my routine now. I also have eliminating added sugar and carbs from my diet by April. So I had done it all of January. I need to get back on it. It did fall off, but we should expect to fall off. We don't want to have to be perfect with these goals. You have an opportunity to get back on. That's why we're keeping track of all of these things, right? And then eliminating alcohol at home ongoing, that I've already done. Family, I want to meet weekly for family budgeting with my husband. We have been doing that every week that he's been in town. But, you know, like I said, he's been out of town a lot, so it's probably something we should get back in track of doing. And then my business goals. So I have 2 new ad creatives per week. So I have currently stopped my ads for my store. That helped my store a lot, but it's getting to the point that they're less profitable because a lot of my ads with the budget that I have as a small business, I was grabbing that low-hanging fruit of it being the beginning of the year, and people are just looking for a planner anyway. Don't want to build a business that relies on ads. I want to build a community that is actually helping ambitious women feel less overwhelmed. And I feel like if I'm just doing that with ads, I'm not really building a community that I can actually support women. I'm just kind of selling a product. So all that to say that I will not be doing new ad creatives each week. 1 newsletter per week, that has been going well because I've been getting someone to help me with that. And then 2 reports per week at my neuropsychology job. Those are my quarterly goals. So after taking a look at my last month's wins, my last month's challenges, all those lessons learned, where I want to go in the quarter, now we can think about, okay, how am I going to use these last 4 weeks to get me there, girl? We don't have much time left in this 12-week year, so we're going to capitalize on that urgency. So let's first set our intention. after you've reviewed your own quarterly goals, I want you to think, what is your main intention? If you can get it down to one word, that would be great. What is your main intention for this month? And how are you going to move through this month, show up in this month to move you closer to your 12-week year goals? So my intention for this month is to streamline. That was my word of the year. Not last year. My last year word of the year was push. Before that was streamline, and that really helped me. That word, I still come back to that word because it's so helpful. So I want to streamline my efforts to be more efficient, streamline content I consume to feel better, and I want to streamline my routine and my eating. So I really want to put all my energy into less things so that I focus that energy like a little bullet to get me where I want to go. So that's my intention for this month. Then we can talk about how I want to feel this month. I want to feel clear, motivated, and happy. I do want to move out of that energy of just survival mode and getting through tasks that I need to get done, and more so moving like forward, motivated, and maybe pushing myself a little bit. I almost put that as my word of the month, push, but I don't want to have that like energy of, I don't know, scarcity and hustle mentality. I more so want to push myself in a way to just kind of amp up my energy, feel more motivated, feel more clear, feel happy as I'm doing these things to reach my goals. This month's priority is YouTube and my social strategy. So let's talk about my monthly goals that I have based on everything we've already talked about. My first one is to reestablish my gut health regimen. So getting back in the groove of all the things that I want to do for my gut. My second one is prepare for special occasions for my family. So Easter is coming up. I got to do things like order Easter outfits, Easter baskets. My son's birthday is April 2nd. I have family from Texas coming in town, so I need to prepare for those things. My third goal for this month is to reprioritize family routines. Then I also want to modify and stick to my daily routine. So in that effort to streamline, get back to waking up at 4:45 a.m., that's a great opportunity to look at all my routines as a whole. Number 5, as I talked about earlier, I want to increase traffic to my site organically. Those are my monthly goals. What are your monthly goals? I do want to quickly go over with you guys the actual lead goals that are going to help me get to those monthly goals. So if you use those strategies in the 12-week year, you want to set your monthly goals, or what they're called monthly priorities, but then you also want to set up lead goals for each one of those things to actually make sure that you're tracking and having action items to help you get there. So those are those SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, that you're going to set so that you have a plan to actually get you to these monthly goals. You're not just like writing them down and being like, all right. And so what I do is I use my 12-week year weekly scorecard template that you can get in the link below for free. And every Friday on lives, I go over my weekly lead goals, and we keep each other accountable. I'm going to go over mine with you guys now. So for total wellness, the actual action items I'm going to do is meal prep once a week, stick to my batch days, and waking up at 4:45 a.m. For my family priorities, I'm going to order the Easter outfits. That'll be like the first week's task. Make sure that we're doing our literacy routines each night. So Layla is practicing reading 3-letter words. Christian is practicing his letter sounds. And then our family budget meeting on Fridays. And then lastly, my monthly priority is organic traffic to my site. So I want to do 1 short form per week on social media, 2 carousels per week, and I want to increase the amount of YouTube videos I'm doing to 6 YouTube videos per month, which is about 1.5 per week. And then last thing that I will be tracking this month are the things that I've kind of already established that I just want to keep an eye on to make sure they're continuing, and I do those on my habit tracker, and that is my cardio, Pilates 2 times a week, drinking enough water, reading each night, reading or mindful coloring, and then conscious social media use. But I do also want to tell you guys a little bit about my favorites, just some miscellaneous things, some favorite things from last month that I wanted to share with you guys. So my favorite mantra from last month was to meet resistance with action. This is a statement that came from a creator here on YouTube that I heard use it. I think her name is Nikisha. In one of her lives, she mentioned this quote, meet resistance with action. So when I was having that self-doubt, the best thing I can do right now is to meet that resistance with taking actions that are going to help me prove that wrong and lean into my positive beliefs. My favorite memories for this month were obviously our Breckenridge vacation and our date night, which was really fun. My favorite song from last month, which is probably everybody's favorite, well, not everybody. That's how biased I am as a Beyonce fan. But a lot of people's favorite song is 16 Carriages. I love this song. I think it's so beautiful. I think I cried when I first heard it. And it's just like, it just has a vibe. 16 Carriages. All right. And then something I'm proud of last month was a lot of the mindful coloring that I did. I spent a lot of nights, instead of just vegging out on Netflix or scrolling my phone, coloring, which was very, very relaxing and helpful for me. I'm the type of person, I love relaxation things that are active, like yoga and mindful coloring, things like that. And it really just helps my brain, like, not necessarily focus, but relax and kind of at the end of the day consolidate, I think is a good word. And then my favorite products, let me grab them. My favorite products are, first of all, this journal, a Jesus Calling guided journal. I used to have this devotional. Well, I still have the devotional. Now I'm using the journal, which is really nice. It has some really great prompts in there and Bible verses, which is helpful. And then also I got this little gadget on Amazon, which I'll link below. It essentially, it helps you take off your gel nail. You can see in the top there. This is the warmer part, and then this is the ceramic bowl that you put the acetone in. And when it's warm, it helps the acetone work much faster, and you just plug it in and this little red light comes on and it keeps the acetone warm, and it cuts the time. Like, it took me like 5 minutes the last time I did my nails to take them off. You file them first and then you soak them 5 minutes. That for me is a game changer because it takes me so long to do my nails. So those are my favorite products. That was my February reflection. That I gave you guys my intentions for the month of March. I'm really ready to walk into March feeling reset, refreshed, remotivated. I hope you are too. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about goal setting or resetting for a new month, or if you want to share with me one of your goals for the month of March. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.